Uh, First of all, thank you so much for MIIM for organizing such a wonderful function. A very beginning to respected Father Reggie Priyan sir, uh, Dr. Cherian Paul, Vice Principal, Professor Samson, um, dear friend Abby Tellas, other students and alumni. It's a pleasure to be, I'm a campus person, always move around and, to be among the students. And it's a pleasure to be again in one another gathering, though, not able to meet in person. It's a pleasure to be meeting you guys online. Uh, as it was introduced, I finished my engineering and from BITS Pilani. Then I worked for 2.5, 3 years in a software company. Then I finished my management from IIM Ahmedabad. Just 1 month before my graduation, I started my company, FoodKing, with initial capital of just 2,000 rupees. I started this in 2006, and Sri Narayan Murthy sir of ex-chairman of Infosys inaugurated my company, and from then on, as principal sir said, I started supplying tea and coffee to a software company in Ahmedabad. So 100 tea and coffee, that was my first order. So as being an I am Ahmedabad alumni, starting from scratch and with very less capital, you could imagine how much difficulty it would have been. But I said to myself, I'll start as small as possible, but I'll reach the top as high as possible in my lifetime. So that was one simple thing which I said to myself when I started my company. Going back, I'm sure you all must be wondering, how did I get the entrepreneur spirit? How did I start? And what made me to think to get into food industry? And many more questions must be going around in your mind. If you see my background, I come from a slum in Chennai. I'm the third in a family of 5 kids, and my mother was a single breadwinner of the family. The max dream in my childhood days would be whether I would get my next meal or not. That was the max dream, the biggest dream which I had. That was the biggest question which I had in my mind, whether my mother would be able to feed all five of us for the next meal. I was as a kid, I was as normal as any other kid. So I went to my mother wanted to put me in English medium school, so she put me in English medium school. And over there, what happened is my studies was very mediocre. I studied in a school where students from upper middle class and middle class background used to study over there. And when I looked at them, I could definitely see a stark difference between me and them, because my uniform used to be pale. My mother used to pack lunch, which is like soaked rice of the previous day. And when I looked at my friends' different box, or when I looked at their uniform, I could, lots of things were processing my mind, that they all come from a very comfortable and very rich family, but you come from a very poor family. You're living in a hut with no electricity and things like that. So I was really disturbed. As you know, as a kid, when I was just 5, 6 years old, when these things come across a kid, when out of six people who sit and eat, you only have a soap rice. Rest of them have delicious, flavor food with you. I used to question what mistake I did. What is the wrong which I did in this life? What is that? There is not even a single thing which people could point at me and say that you're having these good stuff with you. Not my uniform, not my food, or anything for that matter. I was really, really, down in my, attitude. I had low self-esteem and everything for that matter. I was very, I had inferiority complex, and I was looking at. Nobody knows I come from a heart in my class, but when I look at them, I look at them with awe. They all come from very good families. So what happened is, in my second standard, My school used to punish me. The first school which I used to go, they used to punish me for not paying the fees. I will be sent back to home to bring my mother, and say that you have to bring your mother because you haven't paid your fees. So I used to go home and bring her, and she used to come and literally request or beg to the school authorities that kindly allow my son. Somehow I'll pay in a week or in a month or so, right? So because my mother started her career with 1 rupee a day as a salary in a balwadi, in a balwadi as a aya, right? So she started with 1 rupee. 1 rupee is not enough for six people. So my mother started a small idli shop, just to compensate and to earn more. And me and my sister used to go around the streets and sell those idlis and then come back. So I used to think I'm selling idlis on the street. My friends are studying. So I had to change the school because they failed me for not paying the fees. So I changed the school, and luckily, accidentally, what happened is I scored first mark in one of the subjects. And that time, everybody pointed at me and said, Sarathbabu is the first mark in this particular subject. When they pointed at me and talked good about me in this respect, there was a learning in my mind. If at all I have to get some recognition in this world, I cannot get good recognition through a good uniform. I cannot get recognition through having good lunch and sharing with my friends. But the moment I get these books, I could get my recognition just by studying and doing hard work. In my second standard, I started with one subject, and when I ended that particular year, I scored first mark in almost all the subjects. So I became the first rank holder, and throughout my school days, I was the first rank holder of my class. But every time there was lots of challenges. They used to make me to stand outside the class. As you know, like anybody, as a first rank guy, is made to stand outside. So I had two options that time, right? Either to blame people, blame my mother, blame the school, blame the society, blame everyone, and say that you guys made me to stand outside. I'm a first ranker. So I'm not going to score good marks anymore because you make me to stand outside. I had that option and nobody would question me. But I had another option as well. Just to tell myself and just to tell the world, you can give me punishment. You can make me to stand outside, but you cannot make me to stop scoring the first rank or first mark from any of the subject. I said to myself, if I sit inside the class and score the first rank, it is good. I took like God is giving you an opportunity to prove that you're great. Standing outside the class, if you could score the first rank, it is great. Even though I am made to stand outside for 10 days, I'll not bother about the pain in my knees. I used to practice. I'll just focus on the board. I'll just focus what the teacher is saying. Then third, fourth, this used to be my routine. I used to go to a free tuition in the evening, and when I come back, I'll wait for my mother to cook, and we all used to eat. At the end of the day, I mean, my mother used to drink lots of water after feeding us. I used to think that she's really fond of water. That was my understanding when I was in my fourth, fifth, and sixth. I happened to see the same thing in my seventh standard, and that time I realized I was mature. I realized that my mother is drinking water she because she's not fond of water, but she has given all the food to all five of us, and she cannot sleep empty stomach, so she is drinking water. And that time I realized my mother places my future, my education, much more higher priority than her food. And as you all know, food is the most important thing. I realized how a mother is greater than God. So I said, what am I going to do for this life? What am I going to do for my mother? So then a single thing became my motto is to, go to a best college in the state and get a good job, and just to give my first month salary to my mother. So why I say this is, I always was oriented towards job seeking, but I changed to business over a period of time. I would like to say what changed. me to go to that extent. Till 10th, I didn't have electricity, but I said people who have electricity could see everything. But me sitting with a kerosene lamp in heart without electricity, right? What I could see is only my book. So I realized my concentration is much better. And I said to myself, never ever I will think negative in my life. So 10th gone, 11th, 10th I did bookbinding, earned some money, continued 11th, then 12th. 12th I used to wake up very late. I realized I was not having much energy because of the malnourished food which was given to me. I said, you have limited energy. How could you use that for your most priority thing, that is studies? I said, I'm not going to talk more than 10 words a day. I restricted to just less than 10 words a day. I saved energy, I saved time, and I focused on my studies. Also, I used to sleep on the plain floor. Like I sleep by 9 o'clock and used to wake up by 12:30. And what made me to wake up is the chillness of the ground. And with that chillness, I used to wake up. And what made motivated me, what gave me energy is I used to say myself, when your mother could sacrifice her food for your future, you could sacrifice your sleep. So I used to wake up by night 12:30, 1 o'clock, and till morning I used to study and continuously throughout the day I used to study. And I was not aware of what is BITS. My friend said, for your 12th mark, you could apply and you'll get a seat. I'm sure you all know about BITS Pilani, which is one of the top engineering colleges, the top private engineering college in the country. And I just applied, I got the seat, but I didn't have any money to go there. So I pawned my sister's jewels for the first semester. I went there. Then from the second semester onwards, because of my studies, my marks, I got the Indian scholarship. And from then on, I studied well. But the thing is, the students over there had much more proficiency in English communication, and also they were much more better equipped with all the knowledges which is required. I was only aware of my heart and school, and that's it. First time I'm away from my mother for 2,500 kilometers. Slowly I built, I learned, and I organized a function. Everybody said, you're a good manager, good leader. Then I said, what is a manager? They said, you will be paid more. You have to work less. You have to make others work. So I said, wow, I'll be paid more for less work. So let me get into management. That was the initial thought. And they are saying you're a good manager. Then I asked which is the best. They said IIMs. Why best? 1 crore salary. So I just calculated it's like 8,30,000 per month. My dream was to get into, to give my first month's salary to my mother. So I thought if I give 8,30,000 for a poor mother who's earning just 2,000 rupees a month, it would be the biggest change, right? So I thought let me do that. So my dream grew bigger, because in bits I thought like I'll get some 30,000 per month, but here they're saying you could go up till 8,30,000. With that in mind, I started preparing for CAT. But when I prepare for CAT, I came across a report saying that the 30% Indian population go to bed empty stomach. So just like my mother, there are 30 crore people who goes to bed. See, when we reject food and we feel hungry, right? That's different. It's not painful. But when the food is rejected to you, when the food is not available to you, and then the hunger which we feel in our stomach is terrible, is painful. My mother faced this. I have faced this many times in my life. So I thought, what am I going to do for them in my life? That is the time the answer entrepreneurship came my mind. I thought I should start a company and employ as many people as possible. And not only that, I have to motivate as many youngsters as possible to become entrepreneurs the moment I start and I grow, right? So two things became my mission. So when I came back to the campus, I had nearly 2 lakh debt. So I cannot force my mother who's earning 2,000 rupees to take care of that debt. So I said, let me work, earn money, I'll pay the debt. I give some savings to my mother. So I planned similarly. I did the same thing. I gave some money to my mother. I gave CAT for 4 times. The fourth time I cleared all 6 IIMs. Then I chosen IIM Ahmedabad, went there with a single motto that I have to become an entrepreneur. when I entered IIM Ahmedabad, I just had the same heart. Though the job in software was good, comfortable, but I left the job and I went to I just pursued a higher goal in my life. So I went there. First year went very hectic. As you all know, IIM life is too hectic. I mean, hardly we get time to sleep, and I learned many things in management. But all the time I was just thinking, how entrepreneur. That was going in my mind. In at the end of first year, I thought I have to become a food entrepreneur because I was managing the mess of IIM Ahmedabad. Everybody said you are doing a great job. Never in the history of IIM there was a mess manager, I mean mess secretary like you. Everybody was calling me Annadata, you're doing very good and stuff. I felt very happy. Also, there was a connect with my mother's idli shop. I felt very good when you give a good food to someone. When they say it's good, they feel happy. The feeling which we get is really amazing, right? And also, if you see the food industry, there are only poor people similar to my mother who work in that particular industry. So I thought these are the people where I wanted to make a change. So I thought, let me start in food industry. So in my second year, just 2 months before, I hardly had any money. I mean, just the scholarship which I get will go for fees, and that's it. My mother was not having any income because I asked her to take rest and stop working, right? So I had just around 2,000 rupees. And what I did is I started supplying snacks to my own batchmates right from my hostel room. What I did, I outsourced from, there used to be campus placements, and the company which comes to IIM, they used to give free snacks to the students. So what I used to do, I used to outsource the snacks from, say, for example, a burger, then a Coke or a fruity. And no, I used to buy Haldiram's cashew nut, and I used to outsource pastry from nearby bakery and make it as a combo, like costing 100 rupees. And I used to charge 200 rupees, 150 rupees, 175 rupees to the company, right? Without a kitchen, without a staff, just a part-time staff for 2 hours. I just made with just 2,000 rupees. I made within 10 to 15 days. I made around 6-7 lakh of rupees, right? So because each function there will be 200 people, and there will be at least every day three placement presentations happening. So I used to have a bike, and I used to go and exactly bring the burgers. This the moment the presentation is over, I made good money, and with that money, I registered my company, and then first time I took my mother from Chennai to Ahmedabad for the for the inauguration of my company, and that's how she was seated in the audience, and everybody was in Narayan Modi sir was inaugurating, and he just said it's wonderful. I'm the students are starting company which is never heard of and stuff like that. Then they said, why not you speak for a couple of minutes? Then I picked up the mic. Nobody knows about me till then. So I picked up the mic and said, you might think that it's the Naim Ahmedabad guy who started this company, but I'm not the reason. If at all, from a slum boy, if I could come to this level, it is one and only because of my mother, who started her career with 1 rupee a day as a salary. So all credit goes to my mother, and that's how I considered her as the most successful entrepreneur, right? So I said this, and they wanted my mother to come in the front, and that's how from just 1,000 people knowing me in India, overnight a few crores of people came to know about me because my article was carried everywhere, right? And my articles were emailed forwarded everywhere. So that's how by God's grace, my mother's blessings, my brand could be known everywhere. So, but from that time onwards, I started addressing lots of people. More than 2,000 functions I've been there, and I started addressing many people. The max crowd which I addressed was 42,000. I was not able to speak in English a line, but I was addressing 42,000 people for 1 hour, and I've been to many functions in abroad, right? So through these I motivated many youngsters. So when I dreamt that I have to make many entrepreneurs, I found this an easy way to motivate and inspire people to become entrepreneurs. So slowly, the moment that placement presentation gone, I started wanted to start a real-time project, right? Placement presentation is for just 2 months. That's it. So then I went to around 25 companies, and there was just one company, a software company in Ahmedabad. They said, we will give you a project, but our project is not up to the standard to give to a IIM alumni. I am a student, right? So they said, we have 100 employees, and you got to supply 100 tea and coffee to our employee. So you could imagine, right? So how big ego, ego hit for a IIM alumni. I could have earned 10,000 rupees in India per day. Had I gone abroad, I could have earned 40,000 rupees a day. But here is like I could only make 1,000 rupees, 800 rupees to 1,000 rupees by selling 100 teas and coffees. So I said, what's stopping you? I said, ego, you go. I took up that first project. And the next project, when somebody was offering me, when they asked me, do you have some experience? I said, yes, I'm supplying snacks and tea and coffee to a software company. The moment I said that, I felt I am winning. I'm not saying that I don't have experience, I don't run real-time projects. I said, yes, I'm having a project. So I got the second project, the third project, fourth project. That's how slowly from Ahmedabad, I went to Goa, then I went to Rajasthan, I went to Hyderabad, I went to Chennai, I went to Bangalore. That's how I started in all these locations, step by step. I built on my business. So like regarding the brand, the moment the companies asked me a bill, I said, what name to keep? I said, life is one. Instead of becoming a king of any one particular food, why not become the king of food? So that's how the Food King brand, came to my mind, and I started it 14 years back. In 2009, till from 2006 to 2009, I used to read the papers and news and stuff like that, right? So I found that used to hear about 5,000 crore scandal, 10,000 crore scandal. So I thought India is poor, but I realized that's the reason I went hungry. That's the reason I suffered. I had lots of difficulties, but I realized that it is not because of India is poor. It is because of the corrupt politicians which we have. If 5,000 rupees is allotted for a single kid for food for a year, right? We could feed at least a crore children with just a 5,000 crore scandal done by one minister at one point of time, right? If that minister does 10 similar scandals with just a single minister, 10 years of one single, a crore child can be fed. That was my thought. So I thought I should become a politician as well. Not only me, but all the youngsters should become politicians. Because these people won't change. Only we could change by good young blood getting into real time politics. But as you all know, getting into a party, an youngster, then coming to a good position takes lots of time. So I said, let me get in as independent. So I started with social media campaigning for politics in India in 2009. It is not Narendra Modi ji, or it is not Arvind Kejriwal ji. It is me who introduced this campaign, because I think this is one way to reduce the power, money, power of money in politics. Just with 2 month campaign, we came fifth in the MP, Member of Parliament election, and South Chennai. Then I went to a party, regular party. I was there for 2 months, but I realized that it is not for me. I wanted to prove that money should not be playing a part in politics. So then in 2011, I came third. I came third ahead of, after the two major parties. I got 5% of the votes. I used all my brain, whatever management techniques I learned, I used in politics, right? So that's how, a very short time, in 2 months, I could come third. So then, I started a foundation in 2010. I declared one day as Hunger Free Day, October 10, 2010, 10, 10, 10. I declared for the whole country as Hunger Free Day. And every year on that particular day, we used to feed around 10,000 orphanages and old age people. Not only that, we support many single parent children, children without parents. We support them for their education. Not only that, we feed them and we give them career guidance, me and my friends, because I started addressing many gatherings. So I had lots of friends and networks and, things like that. So throughout India, I organized, and, even this year, in this pandemic, as you all know, business was at very low. I didn't keep quiet. I had some land parcel, so I started farming. Along with that, I started buzzing my friend circle, and I collected around 5 lakh of rupees. And we have started supporting people who are really affected because of this pandemic. So these are the works which I do, and these are the things which I did. And yeah, like, so one thing which I like, I'm very happy about the industry which I'm in. I operate in hospitals, right? An entrepreneur, social responsibility should not be a separate wing. It should be imbibed, it should be in the fabric of the business. How I say is just to give an example. I took up a project in a hospital 2 years back. When I came here, like, the two idlis was offered at 26 rupees for two idlis, two chutney and sambar, right? It's a very good quality idli, and very, I mean, the raw materials, the ambience, everything is very good. And they had it's a multi cuisine restaurant, so it's not a single product restaurant, right? So that's a good price. I mean, outside they used to cost around 40 rupees, but these guys were giving at 26 rupees. So I took up the project. When I started interacting with the patients and patient attenders, I realized that many people don't eat food the whole day. They just pass their day with just a tea or coffee for 10 rupees. Because when I interact with them, they say, even the basic, I mean, we are just able to afford around 10 rupees, 215, that's it. So I realized what could be done, without even thinking about any economics, any profitability, nothing. I just said, two idlis, we are going to, charge. I mean, we are going to sell for 15 rupees for two idlis. Big size, two idli, two chutney and sambar. It's only 15 rupees. From 300 pieces a day, within 1 week, I started selling 1,300 pieces a day, which means that each people consuming three idlis a day, I started serving 300 more hungry stomachs, right? These are the things. I may not have earned so much of crores of rupees or lakhs of rupees, but definitely I made a good impact in as many people as possible. I've addressed so far more than 20 lakh people, right? And I have served food to many lakhs of people in the past 14 years. So I'm very happy of what I am doing, and so I'll continue to do the same thing. As Sir said, Abraham Lincoln example. So I never ever give up. I gave my cat for 4 times. The fourth time I had viral fever, I said no problem, and I went ahead and gave and cleared all 6 IIMs. And similarly, I failed 3 times in my politics. I started very young. When I first contested, I was 28. So I have lots of time left, and definitely my dream is to become an education minister of at least the state. And very soon I'll be get will be active in politics as well. But I never left my social works and my business and my mentorship and everything. Thank you so much. I'll end up here.